John Updike was an award-winning author, poet, and critic. Today I'll be reading from the Pulitzer Prize-winning Rabbit Redux, the second book in his most famous series. We lost Mr. Updike last year to lung cancer. This excerpt takes place just after Rabbit confronts his wife Janice about having an affair with coworker Charlie Stavros. Janice stands in front of the television set, the screen green ashes, a dead fire. Efficiently, she undresses herself. Her dark-tipped breasts droop tubular and sway as she disengages her pantyhose. Her tan stops below her throat. Other summers they used to go to the West Brewer pool some Sundays, but the kid became too big to go with his parents, so none go now. They haven't gone to the shore since the Springers discovered the Poconos. Buggy brown lakes imprisoned among green trees. Rabbit hates it there, never goes anywhere. He takes his vacation around the house. He used to daydream about going south, Florida or Alabama, to see the cotton fields and the alligators, but that was a boy's dream and died with the baby. He once saw Texas, and that has to be enough. Tongue pinched between her lips, naked Janice unbuttons his shirt, fumbling. Numbly, he takes over, completes the job. The pants, the shoes last, socks. Air knows him, air of day still lingering, summer air tingling along the skin that never knows the light. He and Janice have not made love in the light for years. She asks him in the middle of it, "Don't you love seeing?" I used to be so embarrassed. In twilight they eat, still naked, salami sandwiches she makes, and drink whiskey. Their house stays dark, though the others around them, that mirror it, turn on their lights. These neighboring lights and the cars that pass along Vista Crescent, throwing soft, sliding witnesses into their room. The open shelves lunge like parallel swords. The driftwood lamp throws a rhinoceros shadow. The school portrait of Nelson in its cardboard frame on the mantel, from beneath the embalming tints of its color wash, smiles. To help them see when darkness comes, Janice turns on the television set without sound, and by the bluish flicker of module models pantomiming flight, of riot troops standing before smashed supermarkets, of a rowboat landing in Florida having crossed the Atlantic, of situation comedies and western melodramas, of great gray momentary faces unstable as quicksilver, they make love again, her body a stretch of powdery sand, her mouth a loose black hole, her eyes holes with sparks in them, his own body a barren landscape lit by bombardment, silently exploding images no gentler than Janice's playful ghostly touches that pass through him and do him no harm. She inverts itself and pours out upon him the months of her new knowledge. Her appetite frightens him, knowing he cannot fill it, any more than Earth's appetite for death can be satisfied. Her guilt becomes love. Her love becomes rage. The first time was too quick, but the second was sweet, with work and sweat in it, and the third time strainingly sweet, a work of the spirit almost purely, and the fourth time, because there was no fourth time, sad. Straddling his thighs, her cunt revealed by the flickering touch of the television to be lopsidedly agape. She bows her head, her hair tickling his belly, and drops cold tears, star pricks upon the slack flesh that has failed her. "Jesus," he said, "I forgot. We were supposed to go over to Mom's tonight." He dreams of driving north with Charlie Stavros in a little scarlet Toyota. The gear shift is very thin, a mere pencil, and he is afraid of breaking it as he shifts. Also, he is wearing golf shoes, which make operating the pedals awkward. Stavros sits in the driver's seat, and with that solid way of muttering, his square ringed hands masterfully gesturing, discusses his problem. Lyndon Johnson has asked him to be his vice president. They need a Greek. He would like to accept, but doesn't want to leave Brewer, so they are negotiating to have at least the summer White House moved to Brewer. They have lots of vacant lots they could build it on, Charlie explains. Rabbit is thinking maybe this is his chance to get out of the printing plant into a white-collar job. Services and software are where the future lies. He tells Stavros hopefully, "I can lick stamps." He shows him his tongue. They are on a superhighway heading north, into the desert coal regions, and beyond that, the wilds of northern Pennsylvania. Yet here, in this region of woods and lakes, a strange white city materializes on the highway. Hill after hill of tall row houses, white as bed sheets, crowding to the horizon, an enormous city. Strange, it seems to have no name. They part in a suburban region beside a drugstore, and Stavros hands him a map. With difficulty, Rabbit locates on it where they are. Metropolis, marked with a bullseye, is named simply The Rise. The Rise. The Arise. The dream is so unpleasant he awakes with a headache and an erection. His prick feels glassily thin and aches from all that work with Janice. The bed is empty beside him. He remembers they went to bed after 2 when the television screen became a buzzing test signal. He hears the sound of the vacuum cleaner downstairs. She is up. He dresses in his Saturday clothes, patched chinos and apricot polo shirt, and goes downstairs. Janice is in the living room, sweeping, pushing the silver tube back and forth. She glances over at him, looking old. Sex ages us. Priests are boyish. Ministers say black-haired until after 50. We others, demon rots us out. She says, "There's orange juice on the table, and an egg in the pan. Let me finish this room." From the breakfast table, he surveys his house. The kitchen on one side, the living room on the other are visible. The furniture that frames his life looks Martian in the morning light. An armchair covered in synthetic fabric enlivened by a silver thread. A sofa of air-formed slabs. A low table hacked to imitate an antique cobbler's bench. A piece of driftwood that is a lamp. Nothing shaped directly for its purpose. Gadgets designed to repel repair. Nothing straight from a human hand. Furniture Rabbit has lived among, but has never known. Made of substances he cannot name. That is aged as in a department store window. Worn out without once conforming to his body. The orange juice tastes acid. It is not even frozen orange juice, but some chemical mix tinted orange. He breaks his egg into the pan, sets the flame low, thinks guiltily of his mother. Janice turns off the vacuum, comes over, pours herself some coffee to sit opposite him with as he eats. Purple dents her eyes. He asks her, "Are you going to tell him?" "I suppose I must." "Why? Wouldn't you like to keep him?" "What are you saying, Harry?" "Keep him, if he makes you happy. I don't seem to. Go ahead, till you've had your fill at least." "Suppose I never have my fill?" "Then I guess you should marry him." "Charlie can never marry anybody." "Who says?" "He did once. I asked him why not, and he wouldn't say. Maybe it has to do with his heart murmur. That was the only time we ever discussed it." "What do you and he discuss, except which way to do it next?" She might have risen to this taunt, but doesn't. She is very flat, very honest and dry this morning, and this pleases him. A graver woman than he has known reveals herself. "We contain chords someone else must strike." "We don't say much. We talk about funny little things. Things we see from his window, things we did as children. He loves to listen to me. When he was a boy, they lived in the worst part of Brewer. In a town like Mount Judd seemed marvelous to him. He calls me a rich bitch."